Oh, okay. I'm, I'm, I feel ready to come back again. It feels natural lately. It feels natural to contribute, and I want to keep the momentum of contributing because I don't put pressure on myself to have this constant um, contribution to my channel. I don't, because I know that I can feel all these other emotions that may delay the process of creating videos and sharing my thoughts and what I've learned and what I'm currently learning. I know different aspects of life can be debilitating to our creation, and I show myself grace for that. Because life sometimes can just grab our attention, and it be very stressful outside of what appears to what you see digitally. And yeah, I can try my best though. I can try my best to put something out there, even if it's not long, but to continue affirming to myself that I'm worthy to be seen at any point, any stage of my life, any season, whatever I'm going through. I can still be like, hey, I'm here. And that feels like I'm affirming my own worth in this world and in myself, in my body. And it feels more real because I'm showing grace and compassion for all parts of me at every part of my life, every point in my life. And I'm not deeming one season of life more worthy than the other. So I'm just currently in my sister's place, but I wanted to share about living outside the norm of maybe some family and just your environment. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, okay, I just want to show up as like the person I am, even when I'm outside of family, or like when I'm back in the city, and then I want to show up the same way with my family. The dynamic is like similar, but more like I'm kind of more goofy with them, and I'm still kind of like quiet at times, but I think I'm just like more just silly or something. Like yeah, they say that. And then I don't know. I think of myself on here as like, okay, well, I usually have this like planned narrative or planned topic of discussion, so maybe I don't leave room for much humor, but I'm just like focused on what I want to share. So you get that part of me that's just sharing, and then I think of like friends that they get my silliness and my what I want to share, how I'm feeling, maybe in a current moment, and then my current partner who sees my emotions fluctuate and sees my sadness and sees my loneliness and sees my frustration. So like, I don't know, I think we're just constantly sort of showing parts of ourselves to different people, to different spaces. But I just wanted to be like still who I wanna, still true to who I am in the moment and the way I'm portraying myself. I'm like, okay, I just want to, because I'm just pretending I'm talking to myself, because I was just doing that. Before I record, I'm like, talking to myself about these things, about what I'm talking to you about currently. I have my little notes on a piece of paper, which I kind of like. I don't know if I share this on the back on April 9th. It says, what went right last year? And then I wrote what went right last year. And then opening the channel to God is my top priority. Putting in effort and consideration to my lover and my friends is my top priority. Meeting my physical need to sleep and eat consistently is my top priority. Speaking of eating consistently, my sister said I gained weight, which is made me feel good. Yeah. I used to overthink it for a moment. I'm like, no, I shouldn't feel good because that means I'm labeling as good, and then that means I'm going on this tangent in my head about I shouldn't label as good or bad. It just is. It's neutral. Da da da. But it just didn't feel good. I don't overthink as much. Sometimes I let myself say certain things out loud or in my head, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can discuss more on that, because sometimes I think when you're on this journey of self-realization, you kind of okay, I gotta think this way, but it's I think leaving space to just be the human that you are, that you signed up to be, that you're supposed to be like that. You're supposed to be in the game. So, anyway, I feel it's natural to contribute right now, and that makes me feel good. Again, feeling good, the word. And this is I think sometimes when I act on what feels right in the moment, it leads to the emotion of that choice to make. You make a choice that feels right, and so it sometimes may lead to a period of mourning of what was or something, but depending on the choice, you start to feel the effects because of that choice you made. So me coming at the time I did to visit family, it led me to feel good with the choice I made to visit them. At the time I did, I just think that I needed to see them, and I needed to be there, and so I did, and I am here, and we'll get to that. So so the eating consistently, that made me feel good, because I'm oh, I've been trying to the last year, I think it's been more than a year now, but I've been eating more. I don't ever really go a day without eating. If I do, it's really rare now, instead of it used to be more consistent that I didn't eat, but now I do. At least I try to eat more and more. Maybe I'll talk about that journey one day, I don't know. I haven't really had a format or an intention. I need to first have what's my intention behind talking about this, or how can I help people, I don't know, with this information. So putting in effort and consideration to my loved and friends was top priority. Then spending money on only just a few things is my top priority. Spending my weekends to track my goals, check in with myself, which I feel last night I talked to God, and the way I talk to God, sometimes I'll use my voice recording to talk to God, and for some reason it deleted, and I'm you know what? I was because it was a good 30 minutes, right? And I was oh man, deleted. And I was bummed about it. And I'm just for that moment, I was you know what? As long as God heard and Source heard, that's for Source and Spirit. That's the information I shared, it's for them to hold. It's for God to hold. I've already said it, so it's it doesn't just get lost just because it's deleted. And we have to give that grace to ourselves, whether it's that specific example of recording, or just making mistakes. It's okay, I'm still worthy, and then I'm still perfect in the image of God. Nothing changes. Nothing changes it doesn't make us less perfect. So I was okay, I'm gonna use this. Sometimes, and I was thinking to myself, these tangible items, they're good to indulge in and have fun with, and our phones, and indulge in the technology. But to remind ourselves that these are tools also to help us connect to God. whether I'm using this my phone to record like how I'm doing now, or to record my voice. We use altars. We have altars, or sage, or Palo Santo, or yoga mats, or even the clothing to express ourselves, to express another expression of source. So, yes, it can be used for divinity, as long as we treat it as such. So, maybe I'll do it. Anyway, I have these ideas and that just comes. Okay, so living outside the norm. So, within your family environment, the reason this was brought up to me as I'm spending time here, and this is it's not a town, but it's almost like that. There's not much here, and I'm trying to find ways to be true to how I want to spend my time. I was spending time on my phone, and I'm it's harder when you feel restricted. I'm I don't have keys to leave and come back. I don't have a car right now, which this place, as many places in America, you need a car to kind of get around. There's only transit here, so there's a lot of barriers, but I can still make room and find possibilities to create, and I can still find room to be true to who I am. And that's something I didn't know when I was younger. I used to think all these barriers was prohibiting me from acting in alignment to who I am. But then as time goes on, when I was 19, 20, that's when I started you know what, I can spend my time doing other things outside of just staying in bed all the time. So it feels I know that feeling. It's a subtle. Every time you do something that's nourishing, it's not loud. It's never loud. It's a subtle feeling of just oh, this feels right. Your heart is saying this is feeling right. It's never loud. Rarely it is. Unless you're going on an adventure, jumping off a cliff. You're yeah, this is right. Yeah, I'm feeling so fun. This is adventure. Yeah, I feel I have deja vu. I feel I've recorded here in the winter last year. Oh my gosh. I feel I was sitting something like this, but just with furniture. So where did this all start? This norm. Living outside the norm. It started when I moved to the city, and I was wow. I never understood why people were shocked about that. In my head I was well, you eventually leave and make a change in your life. It's no big deal. This is what I was saying in my head. I was well, it's no big deal. You make a change inevitably in your life. Wouldn't all people want this or do this? Maybe not specifically the move I made, but a move, a change, a move, yes. And I think the shock came from when you don't see examples of it around you, whether it's friends or family, neighbors, just the environment. It just feel oh, they did that? Oh, okay. Well, I didn't expect that. I had a friend of mine, an old friend in high school, say they wanted to move to the city as well. And hopefully she makes it out if she still wants that. Or, the reason I also wanted to talk about this because in that moment I did act instinctively. I didn't know I was acting instinctively at that time. I was thinking, well, this is what I want. I didn't tie it in with intuition. I just tied it into confidence in the decision I was making. But it was intuition. Intuition can be tied in with confidence. Confidence can be tied in intuition. Intuition is confidence. Confidence is intuition. So I think when you just don't see examples of that, of it, you're this is different. It kind of just takes you this unexpected feeling maybe. And once I moved out, I would have this like, it was my way of saying being angry at like being tied in, trapped and restricted for all my life, being sheltered, and so moving was like my way of saying, oh my gosh, I'm being free, I'm living the life I want to live. And when I would visit, it would feel like this aching feeling of, love, being with my sisters, talking to them, my brothers, my niece and nephews. Like my heart leads me back here because of them. But otherwise, everything else that I'm looking at visibly, that my eye is looking at, like, this is not the place for me. My soul is striving for just change, constant change, or some level of predictability and sameness. But my soul's craving for like different. And so, and many of us do in so many ways, right? It was very clear to me at an early age of like, this is, that confidence, that intuition is there for that specific choice. And we can't ignore it. I think it's worth exploring because it leads to meeting people you didn't know existed in this world, that you didn't know occupy this earth same time as you. It leads to seeing different people trying to live out their life in a way that speaks to them, that feels right to them, and it's reaffirming to yourself as well when you seeing reflections of that in other people, reflections of that same choice in other people. And it's like, wow, I feel like it feels like we're all on a journey together. Everywhere we are always on that journey. But to be in a specific environment that reflects the same choice you made, and it just feels reaffirming. It's like, oh, it feels more fun. Like, oh, we're having fun here. Like, this is like a game that we can create within our lives. Like, we're having fun. This is a game, not like a. Before that, if I were to stay here, I would maybe feel like I don't have much of a handle on this game. But when I'm moving to the city, when I move to the city, it's like, oh, I feel like I have a handle on it. Like, I'm the one that's having that control that I've always wanted. And it's important to be reminded of that in our environment. If we change our environment, or we listen to our intuition to do that choice we want to make, to make that decision we want to make, we can feel like we're having the handle again of that play. We're the ones having on the stage, right? We're the ones on the stage. We're not the audience. We want to be on the stage. We want to be the one, the director of our play. That is our life. So this lady's like going down. So I'm like, oh, okay. So that's where it began, and I've been coming back and visiting it, and I feel affirmed as to why why that choice felt right. And I'm holding this and trying to understand and conceptualize how I view my life here versus there. It feels like I have appreciation for my family, and I see how making memories with them and having shared experiences with them matters more to me than going on a trip. Okay, I have another clip you can watch after this. I'll tie in because I speak on this, but I'm currently holding this appreciation of the opportunity to have shared experiences with family, and also like my soul still is like, oh, I still want to be elsewhere, I don't have a clear answer, and I was talking to God about gaining clarity as to how to move forward, with both the desire to share experiences with them, and then also striving and yearning for myself being in a different part of the world, different state, different country. I'm not sure yet to balance both, but I think that I can still hold both. I can still make time for both. There's still room for both, and anything that we're asking Source for, we must hold that faith that Source will deliver. There's no boundaries. What we can be provided, or what we can be given, there's no limits to that. And I believe it. I believe that there's no limits. And that's why I encourage people to act on their instinctive desires, because and this is why I'm so glad I'm like having to always return to my channel, even if it's been a month or 2 or 3 months, because I'm reaffirming that I can make space, that there's space for me, and I want people to know that there's space for you too. There's no one saying this, and there's nothing else for. Like, God and Source would be like looking at you like, what are you talking about? Like, you're in the image of me. I can make you whoever I'm the genie. You have the 3 wishes. Grant me your wishes right now. Of course, meet me halfway and take action and contribute to that. But still, like, I'm the genie here. That's what God is. I think that I am. So I just feel like the more I can come back to this, and I'm like, okay, I'm reaffirming. And even like trying to spend my days different than I did years ago is reaffirming that I've changed. And then my environment helped me. And that's another reason I'm mentioning this change in environment, because being around people that were like wanting different for their lives, or like wanting to see themselves beyond what's ordinary and what's the norm, beyond the norm, has helped me improve how I'm spending my day to day, instead of laying in bed all day and never going outside. It's like, no, I'm trying to go outside, and I don't have the keys, so I'm like, let me step out and feel the sun a little bit. But that desire is natural for me, and it feels good to know that it's natural to want to go outside. That it feels natural to want to even do simple things, brush my teeth, eat food. Like, it just feels natural. It doesn't feel like I'm closing myself in anymore, and I don't like it anymore. It's just a way that I'm like, you know. And I think spending time really around people can do that. You know, that reaffirming, being around people that reaffirms it, being around in an environment that reaffirms who you want to be. It's a step forward to becoming your higher self and leveling up and continuing to level up. And the last thing I'll say is, when you're choosing you, you also have to observe and take note on when's the right time to choose you and when's the right time to serve others. I know there's a lot of people struggle with like choosing other people, and sometimes it's not healthy too, and maybe we are not meant to at the moment. But sometimes I feel like for me, I've had times when I'm like, okay, less of me, and like let me make time for other people, you know, because it's easy to slip into that me, like, I have to do this during the day, gotta go to work, gotta do laundry, gotta clean, gotta make dinner, and then it's like, just text that person that you haven't texted. See like if they have availability on a certain day, if you have a certain idea that you want to do with them, you know, reach out to your family, like, to know to keep serving your time to others too. Because I think when you're choosing something outside the norm and you're wanting to live, you know, just, this is really about just choosing you, but to remember to always have that room to serve others too. because I just, yeah, so I'm giving a huge gift to the siblings I have, the sisters I have, and yeah, I'll speak more on this the next clip or something, but yeah, something I want to spend time with them and seeing the value in spending time with people who know your heart, who can hold your heart, and who can cherish your heart. So, yeah. Hope this gave you guys some courage and to just follow what your heart is saying.
I'll just pop in real quick. Sometimes recording is on the back burner for me. It's empty because my sister's gone. The furniture, I mean. So it's just staying with my other sister. Anyway, now that I'm in the Midwest, it's kind of strange how someone can go from one part of the world, even if it's the same country, but to go from one part to be in another completely different area in a span of a few hours is just strange, and it makes it feel too accessible. Why does it feel too accessible? Why does it feel too convenient for people to travel? At the same time, not convenient. There was a huge delay, and the last 2 plane rides have had a delay. The last one before this one was 2 hours. We didn't take off for a good an hour and a half, 2 hours. I think it was about that time. And then this last one just now was an hour. I'm oh my gosh, what is going on with these air traffic controllers? Thank you for the work you guys do, but it just doesn't make me wanna. And then trains get delayed too, whether it's Amtrak or the MTA. And then buses don't come. So sometimes it's just a trek to go place to place just because of the way, the mode of transportation you take. It doesn't feel like there's no other easy way to take it. And I'm just and then when you get there, you're okay. Now that I'm here, it almost, for me, I feel when I'm going through the process, the delayed process, it's I should have just stayed rooted where I was. I tell myself, not that I want to, but it just makes it more reasonable to stay rooted to where you are. Unless there's intention behind the action you're taking to travel. For me, to see family, to spend time with them, to love them, and to give them my time. But in the process of whether I'm going here or somewhere else, if it's something that doesn't feel intentional, why put myself through this process of delayed mode of transportation? Why put myself through? What's really the reason? Because lately it feels just to get repetitive delays, whether it's train or plane, it just, why? If I'm going somewhere else just to visit, I just don't think it's reasonable to travel excessively unless there's intention behind it. There's a lot that goes into it. I haven't ever traveled with a group of friends or a friend, and I was just wondering how that could, because if I'm having this delay to myself, if I'm having this own solo experience, of course individually, but you're with other people, I'm not discounting that, but as someone who's just traveling by myself at the time, I'm like, why? It just feels like if I was with a group, it would just feel more unreasonable to go to with a group. And I'm just like, I haven't really thought of what I was gonna say. I just turned on the camera. Kind of want to lay down. I just want to enjoy the sun. But like, just to imagine a big group, but there's like 4 people, 5 or 6 is like, sometimes these things seem like a trek. And it's not to say that trips shouldn't just be smooth, all smooth throughout. Not to say that, but sometimes I think the earth could do better with less movement of humans around the globe. Although globalization has its benefits, I think, and allowed us to understand each other more, understand our cultures more, our brothers and sisters that are in different countries, but it's not all reasonable all the time, and I don't think we can always justify so much movement. I think it's okay to do less of that if it's not necessary. And I was just thinking about that as this plane was halted. I was just wondering where's the glamour behind this life of travel, life of movement? Where's the glamour behind it? It can be fun. Like, I myself get excited and I've only had like a few experiences, maybe like 2 experiences, 3, very little, where I felt excited. Like, usually all the time, but it's like that state of feeling like you're living a dream. You're living life for you, for your highest self. Or like you feel like you're her. And I felt that when I go on a plane and it's sunny out and it's the beginning of the day. It's so exciting when it's the beginning of the day. Because it feels like you're just starting out on this adventure at the start of the day, like a brand new start. And at night, it's a different feeling. It feels like you're having a late night escape from where you're coming from. Like, for instance, if I were going somewhere at night, leaving my home base and going somewhere at night, somewhere else, a different country. Like, I think going to a different country and flying at night is exciting because you just imagine, oh my gosh, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna like see how sunny it is at the location I'm going to be in. Like, let's say you're leaving at night at your home base, but you wake up and by the time the plane lands, it's night. It's daytime. And that's when you land at your destination. And that's exciting because it's like, oh, I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna be like the start of the day and I have this whole entire day to spend in this new place. Like that, it's always that start that gets me excited. Like if I'm starting in the daytime on a plane and it's sunny, it feels like I'm leaving my home base and I'm just starting this new adventure at the start of the day. Or if I'm landing and it's daytime at this destination, I'm just starting this new adventure at this location. So it almost feels like if I can time it that way and leave my home base at the start of the day to give that specific day that oomph, and then the opposite where I may be leaving that home base at night, but if I'm able to start that oomph of excitement at the new destination, that's so exciting. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah. It just feels like you're anticipating it. When you're on a plane at night too, you're anticipating that it's gonna be sunny when you get to that location, if it is a sunny destination. Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. Is it always necessary? Or it's fine. But I just think like if it's the right moment to do it, then yes, do it. Like right now, I feel like it was my moment to visit family. It always is. Like I always want to. But sometimes the finances and timing, resources doesn't pan out. But I feel like I needed to be here, and but I just wouldn't want to do it in a way that's like always movement for what? Then it just feels like it loses its intention if it's just constant for me. Yeah. So I'm gonna probably show what I'm gonna do with family, or like time with my mother. Her birthday's coming up in a few days, and just appreciate family, appreciate what I have within my family, the flow of conversation I can have with my sisters. It always feels like grounding a little bit. At a time in this season specifically, it could feel grounding at the fall to be with family, because as seasons transition and this time of more stillness, it allows me to come back and just be rooted with family for a little bit. So gonna be doing that.